Hey guys, welcome back to Maximum Automation. Today in this video, we're going to see that how can we implement logging in our automation framework. So before we start, let's talk about logs first. What are logs? Logs are basically the text which holds the information about the event that occurred in our framework. And they plays a very important role of helping us to understand what's happening in the backend. Logs are generated in the code where a significant event has happened. For example, a web element found successfully or a file operation succeeded, or at any other place in the code that we believe will be useful for us to observe the framework behavior. So logs are the very first thing that a developer always needs whenever an error is reported. It helps to walk through the events of the framework and finding out what happened. Therefore, logs can be really useful in case of unexpected issues and failed builds. And we cannot debug issues without proper log files, as they become the only source of information to debug some intermittent or unexpected errors. Now the question is that how can we implement the logs in our framework? So there are any number of logging libraries available which we can use in our framework. But today we are going to use Apache Log4j2 in our framework. So to start with logging in framework, first of all, we need to add dependency of log4j2 in framework. And to do that, open pom.xml file. And then in dependency section, add the dependency XML of log4j2. To find the dependency XML for log4j2, you can browse to the Maven repository where you can find the XML. So this is the dependency XML for log4j2, which you can copy the XML and then paste it into the pom.xml file. Now save it. You can see that the moment we saved it, it's building the project and will download the log4j2 jar. And if we go to the Maven dependency folder, then here we can see that log4j2 core jar file has been downloaded and available for use. Now let's go to the step definition class. So here we'll initialize our logging. And to do that, we'll write logger log equals to log manager dot get logger stepdef.java. You can provide any name of the logger which you want to see in your log file and then cast it. Now it's time to write some log events. So let's add info log event in all the step definitions. So I'm writing log.info and then we'll pass the log message in the argument. Navigate it to URL and we'll append the URL variable. Similarly, we'll add info log events in all step definitions. So whenever a keyword will be executed, we get the same information in log as well. So now we are done with writing all the log events. Similarly, we can initialize the logger in each class to generate the log events. You can provide the blank value as well in the logger name to use the default class name, or you can define it like stepdef.class. So you can use any of the values to generate the logger name. Now the next important thing is to add log4j2 XML in the project. As you can see that I have already placed log4j2 XML in the project. Please make sure that this XML should be placed at the root level of your project. That's why I have placed it under source folder. Now, if I open this XML, then you can see that we have different sections available in the XML file. The first one is the properties section where we can define the properties and their values. Like I have used file path as the property and then provided the value of the file path. This is the path of my project where I want to generate the log results. So once execution will be done, we get our logs file under this result folder. Then the another section we have is appenders. Appenders are responsible for delivering log events to their destination. For example, to print log events into the console, we have to use console appenders. And to print log events into the file, we need to use file appenders. So here you can see that I have provided two appenders. The first one is for printing the log events into the console, which I have named as stdout. And the second one is file appender named as file. In file appender, we have to provide the file path as well, where our logs will be generated. So I have given the file name property for file name, which I have already defined above. If you see the pattern layout, then it signifies the format that how would you like to see the logs in your log file. For example, first it will print the timestamp, followed by the log event, then the logger name. In our case, it will be step def, and at last, the log message. You can customize the log format based on your requirement. Once we are done with the appenders, then in logger section, we have to provide the information like appender type and log event level to use during the execution. So for that, in the root section, we have given the level as info and the appender reference as file, as we want to see our logs in file. In case you want to see it on console, then you can simply provide the value as stdout. In log4j, we have different log events levels like all, verbose, debug, information, warning, and error. So if you provide the log level as all, then everything will be pushed into the log file. If you provide the log level as information, then only the info, warning, and error will be pushed into the log file. So this is the hierarchy you can see. Left side of any log level will not be pushed to the log. Only the level provided and the level available on right side of the selected one will be pushed to the log file. So out of these logging levels, most commonly used levels are error, warning, and info in Automation Framework. You can use all logging levels in your framework, but the other side of this is that logging produces a lot of data, most of which is less exciting except when things go wrong. So the essential idea of level is to make it possible to turn on and turn off the amount of information being written to a log. So now we are done with all the configuration required to incorporate logs in our framework. So it's time to run the test so that we can get our log file. So I have one feature file with me, which I'll run so that we can get our logs. So execution has been started. It will go to the amazon.com. We'll search for a book, and then we'll verify the price of the book. So as you can see, that execution has been completed. Now let's see our log file. We'll go to the result folder, and underneath that, we'll find our log file. Here you can see the logs which have been generated. We are getting the details like timestamp, log level, and the log message. We can see the details in logs like the expected value of the object and the actual value of the object. So you can use different levels of logs in your framework, and then can use the log level filter in log4j to XML to see the logs based on your needs. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Comments are always welcome. Please like the video and do subscribe to my channel. Also, please click on the bell icon to receive the notifications.